Hi everyone, it's John from What Up. Welcome back to another video, and today we're talking the love triangle that is the rights of the Wheel of Time show, and it's not the one between Perrin, Egwene, and Rand that we saw in Season 1, it's the one between Sony, Prime, and IWoT Productions. There was an article written about this the other day, sort of ignited a firestorm of the fandom. I promised you folks a follow-up with official quotes. Here I am, and I'm delivering as promised. So if you love the Wheel of Time as much as I do, if you're as excited as I am about the future projects that are coming out, there's a lot of them coming out, or if you just want to follow us for book and show content, consider making us your home for all things Wheel of Time. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, and of course, folks, tell all your friends. So for those of you who don't really know what's happening here, or you're kind of new, or you're just jumping in now, a few days ago there was a Reddit post, and in the Reddit post, it was stated that Jenifer Liang, the co-founder and current chair of DragonCon, had said something about the rights for the Wheel of Time. And Fellowship of the Fans, which is a Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power fan website and YouTube channel that does news and leaks and those sort of things. Think of them like WoT Series and me kind of combined, I guess is the best way to put it, but not for the Wheel of Time, but for Rings of Power. They referenced that Reddit post and the quote within the Reddit post and wrote an article about it, and that article kind of blew up through the Wheel of Time fandom. I think it went much further than a lot of people expected, and everyone started talking about it. Pretty much every Wheel of Time YouTuber, podcaster, if they have an Instagram account, the Wheel of Time TikTokers, the book talk people, people adjacent to the Wheel of Time fandom picked up on this article, and everyone talked about it, including myself. I released a video on it the other day, and I was skeptical of some of the things that were said in the article, but I mean, I promised you folks that I would do my best and my due diligence to check into it because I was skeptical, and I'm glad I did. As of today, noon Pacific, IWoT Studios has released a statement, I guess is the best way to put it, about the article itself and what it said. And I reached out to Jenifer Liang, and I got a quote from her. So we're going to go through both those right now and talk about what changes for it. So the first thing is from Jenifer. Jenifer was kind enough to give me a quote I could use, and what she said to me is, "My understanding is that Sony and IWoT have the rights and are not seeking another streamer for the show. The previous reporting about this was based on an inaccurate summary of a panel I hosted at DragonCon this year." So essentially, someone misquoted her, put it on Reddit, and it got picked up by a fan website, put online, and then just caused a firestorm. So Fellowship of the Fans, I read the article a couple of days ago, and I left a link to it down below in the description box for you folks who want to peruse it when you're done the video. But here's the article here, but the important bit was this. Second paragraph states, "The news of the rights reverting was recently reported on Reddit, where it was attributed to the director of DragonCon, an annual convention devoted to the works of Robert Jordan. To be clear, DragonCon is not going on at the moment. The news apparently comes from DragonCon, which recently concluded. Both are held in Atlanta, Georgia, in the United States. Jenifer Liang, who is the co-founder and chair of DragonCon," and at this point, this next sentence is struck out, so there's a line through it, "stepped in to confirm the rights have reverted to IWoT Productions Limited, and they are not looking for another streamer to pick it up." Again, that part was struck out, but in the original article, when it was first released, and when I read it, and when pretty much everyone else in the Wheel of Time fandom read it, that was not struck out, that was just in the article. There's an update from September 9th underneath this that says, "While Jenifer Liang is a prominent Wheel of Time fan who may have deeper insight than most, she is not representative of Amazon, Sony, or IWoT, and not all of what was shared in the Reddit post necessarily came directly from her. For example, the claim about the rights reverting completely to IWoT. As such, none of this should be taken as official confirmation." So, essentially, they kind of, I think they realized that perhaps the quote wasn't accurate, and they put that in there just to say that, well, it might not be accurate, but this is what it says on Reddit. And again, it does not, from what Jenifer Liang said to me versus that, there is a pretty big difference there. And then IWoT Studios, of course, released their own statement, which I have here, and I'll read to you folks. It is as follows. "While in the past we have never directly responded to inaccurate public information, we've seen posts online claiming Amazon and Sony have relinquished the Wheel of Time TV rights, or that IWoT Productions has decided against continuing the show. These reports are simply false. Sony currently retains full control of the rights. We all fought hard to bring the show back for season 4, but Sony's decision stands. It's painful, and we're as heartbroken as our fans and the cast of the show over this outcome. However, while a direct continuation of the series isn't possible, our commitment to the Wheel of Time endures. We're actively developing new projects, including the Age of Legends feature film, a significant gaming initiative, and more that we'll share soon." So there's a lot in that. Essentially, they don't have the rights to the TV show. Now, IWoT Studios and IWoT Productions holds the rights to pretty much everything else Wheel of Time related other than books and this particular TV show. So it's not like they can gather all the cast up tomorrow and say, all right, we're going to privately fund this and we're just going to put together season 4 and carry on, or get other public funding or shop to another streamer. They don't hold the rights to the show because they opted it to Sony. When all this began, IWoT sat down with Sony and they signed the contract with Sony. Sony then signed a contract with Amazon. Amazon's contract with Sony was for 3 seasons. They completed the 3 seasons. They couldn't really decide or get together on what the newest contract to continue the show would be. It was decided then that they weren't going to carry on with the show, and the rights then, once Amazon kind of bowed out, went back to Sony. I imagine there's some sort of time frame or things that go on with the contract where IWoT can make another television show or whatnot. But right now, the rights for the show that was aired on Prime are with Sony, and Sony's the only one that can revive the show and sell it to somebody else. But it states right in there the continuation of the show currently is not possible. So that leads me to believe that Sony has shelved it. And from everything I've heard from both contacts at Sony and other sources that have been 100% accurate in the past, and again, take this part with a grain of salt, everything I've heard from them kind of, leads me to believe that's 100% true. So they're saying the continuation of the show isn't possible. I would say that's probably because Sony has decided we're not going to continue with this, and it's shelved right now. That's what to me, that's what that statement in that official statement from IWoT comes across as saying. So it's not great news. It's kind of crappy, actually. There's a huge Save WoT movement going on. There's been a lot of things done, a lot of hard work by a lot of people trying to get the show revived. And I'm not saying that anybody should stop in any way, shape, or form. If you love the show, if you still want to see the show in some iteration at some point or another, still show up later on, keep fighting for what you love. Of course, the world's kind of crappy right now. If you love something, then that's a good enough reason to fight for it. It just means we don't have any good news. That's what that is. So there's that, folks. So let me know in the comments down below what you folks are thinking. I'm always hesitant to report things that are or could be considered really inflammatory. Myself personally, unless I really verify them, because I just don't like riling people up. I'm not that kind of person. But it happens all the time. Like you see, especially on Reddit, there's all kinds of stuff said on Reddit that you can't really take as, being actually factual. People just talk all the time, or they kind of half know things. Especially the Wheel of Time Reddits, there's a whole lot of people in there that seem to think they know a whole lot about the rights, a whole lot about who owns what, a whole lot about what's going on behind the scenes. And some of them may be totally correct, but probably, a pretty good guess is a majority of them maybe aren't. So you always take that stuff with a grain of salt. Unfortunately, because the fandom's so high energy right now and everybody's kind of so amped up on how we get the show back, is it not going to happen? What's going on with the rights? Who do we start bugging? What can we do? Any news that's kind of even adjacent to that stuff just kind of it's going to carry well, and emotion will prevail over thought at that point every single time. And let's face it, the Wheel of Time fandom is an emotional, very passionate bunch. I know, because I'm one of them, and it's really hard not to be emotional and passionate with something you truly love. So again, if we hear things like this, it's always best to try to go to the actual source, which would in this case be Jenifer and IWoT, because the article was about Jenifer's quote, and IWoT is the actual production company that is stated in there. And they both come out, release their official statements, and essentially, no need to panic. Sony didn't drop it back to IWoT, and IWoT's not considering going on with the show. It's still with Sony, but it sounds like Sony's not going to continue with the show. So Sony's still the one holding the rights to the show at the end of the day. Anyway, folks, let me know in the comments what you folks think. I for one, am grateful for all of the work and all of the things that have gone on in the Wheel of Time fandom the last little while, for the Save WoT campaign and all of the passion that the show fans have really put into it. And from everything I've heard from behind the scenes, everyone is grateful for it as well. So keep it up. who knows, maybe we'll still change minds in the future. Again, if you haven't already done so, save what, go to the website, it's in the description of the video. Sign up to letter writing campaign, social media posts, any number of different things that you can do. It doesn't cost you any money, just a little bit of time. Anyway, thanks so much for sticking with us here to the very end, folks. Here's to many more.